Welcome to Intuitive Alchemy, the space where we turn cosmic and spiritual insight into practical, real-world healing. I'm Sydney, trained intuitive, energetic alchemist, and medical astrologer in training. And on Intuitive Alchemy, I get personal. We don't do surface level here. We go deep. No fluff, just the energetic shifts, raw stories, and grounded practices that actually change your life and activate your personal power. Now let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to Intuitive Alchemy. Oh my gosh. Okay, we might ruffle some feathers today, and that's completely okay with me. I do not care even 1%, because what we're going to talk about today needs to be said and it needs to be understood. I wish that I hadn't fallen for this lie and this belief that I'm going to be talking about today, but I did, and I can now speak to it in the sense that it definitely harmed me and did not do me literally any good. So here's the lie. I'm not even going to gatekeep this until later in the episode. We're just going to start with it right now. Here's the lie. If you feel a negative emotion, you'll manifest something bad. So like you should just ignore it, repress it, focus on something else so that you can stay in a high frequency, high vibe, you know? And that is the lie that has been taught and circulated and I don't know, maybe misinterpreted. Maybe it never really started out that way, but then different people like in the manifesting community kind of distorted it. I guess it's maybe similar to like the Bible, where a lot of the teachings in there are like good and true, and then they get so wildly distorted and miscommunicated, misinterpreted, and then taught, and then people base their lives on those teachings, and then you're just like really fucking yourself up. To not even to be dramatic, like literally. So that is the biggest lie in my experience that is told in the manifesting community. And it's like both. There's kind of, in my experience, two camps or two like schools of thought within the manifesting community. And it's like law of attraction and law of assumption. And they're both universal laws. Like they're both true. It's just kind of, I don't know. Like if you know, you know. If you've been in the manifesting community, the spiritual community, you probably have heard people that are like diehard law of attraction and then like diehard law of assumption. Like I don't know why it's that way, but that's just what I've observed. And law of assumption, like law of attraction is like The Secret. If you saw that documentary or read the book or whatever, there's definitely something to it, but one of the flaws can be like, it's just like you're not taking action necessarily. Like it's just you like thinking about the things you want or visualizing the things you want. And then law of assumption is like just stay in the state of the wish fulfilled, believe that it's already done, like it is already done, and you just like assume that the identity of the person that would have it, and you assume that it's already done. And I'm like really overly simplifying it, but something that you'll hear a lot in the manifesting community is like stay in the state of the wish fulfilled and ignore your current circumstances, ignore like literally anything that's not what you want. And some of this is like helpful. Of course, you don't want to be just like having pity parties all the time or overly focusing on things you don't want, or, you know, it needs to be a balance. Like everything has to be a balance. You certainly don't want to just be like focusing on all the bad things, quote unquote bad things, because nothing is really good or bad and everything is both. So like you don't want to be doing that, but you also do not want to be suppressing and repressing your emotions because it's data, it's information. Like, we are human freaking beings. We are not just like robots or AI beings, just here not feeling things. And so this idea that if you're feeling something that you deem as negative, that you should just ignore it because that can ruin your vibration, and then therefore it will make you manifest things that you don't want to experience, is just like, it is, talk about spiritual bypassing and emotional bypassing. It is not only spiritually immature to do that, it is physically dangerous. It is literally harming you physically. And you can probably hear that I am passionate about this because I fell for this. Like, I had my first spiritual awakening when it was like December of 2020, and I just like dove super deep into law of attraction, like all of the stuff taught in The Secret, all of the Gabrielle Bernstein books and teachings. And like, I'm not even shitting on that. Like, it actually was, I think, one of the best things to ever happen to me, one of the best things for me to ever discover, because I learned so much, and I learned how I literally had so much more power than what I was thinking that I had. Like, I was not a victim in really any of the situations that I was in, or like the heartbreak or whatever. And so it really helped me take my power back. And it was an amazing stepping stone for now, the journey that I'm on. And I'm very grateful for that. But of course, like, as we learn more and as we move in our journeys, you're like, you can look back at yourself, years ago or however long ago, and be like, oh, I didn't know better, And so as I went deeper into my manifestation journey and my spiritual journey, all of that, I learned more about law of assumption and like Neville Goddard and all of that, like feel it real and all these things. And so it's like, they do acknowledge emotions and feelings, but it's like only the ones that align with what you want to happen, like your desired outcome, your desired manifestation. That's the only like feelings and emotions you're supposed to give any life to, or like allow yourself to really feel. And that just is so, like, if I could literally just put into words how wrong that is, I wish I could. And I hope that this episode is going to like enlighten this topic for you and just really, really inspire you to allow yourself to feel your emotions, especially the ones that you would deem as negative or undesirable, uncomfortable, unpleasant. Because guess what? You don't get diseases or sickness or chronic pain, autoimmune issues from the happy emotions. Because most of us, if we feel a happy or pleasant, comfortable, exciting emotion, we do let ourselves sit with that, and we do let ourselves like feel that for the most part. Maybe you don't, but I know that feels very good to me. And so I never really had an issue with expressing my positive emotions. It was the tougher, like stickier ones. And guess what? Those are the ones that whenever we shove them down, like the grief, the anger, heartbreak, fear, frustration, shame, guilt, those are the ones that your nervous system remembers them, and they calcify into your literal physical body and your light body as well. Of course, they start there in the light body, and then they manifest into the physical body. They don't just disappear because you tried to override it with some happy thoughts, with, some toxic positivity. They don't, that's not how it works. It's not like a dry erase board where you write something and then you erase it and write over it. No, it is like, think of the image that I'm getting in my mind is like, um, Whenever you paint over wallpaper, like if you buy a house that's old and maybe it had wallpaper and then they didn't, like, they were kind of lazy and they didn't want to take off the wallpaper, so they just painted over it, and then like later on you're gonna have to fucking deal with that and it's gonna be a pain in the ass. That is like what it feels like whenever you're suppressing and repressing your feelings and your emotions. And like later on, you are going to have to deal with that. And it's probably going to be way worse later on because it's been stuck in there in your body, in your organs, your tissues, your fascia, your everything, like your nervous system. It is going to be worse later the longer that they sit in there and calcify and just like latch on to all of these body parts that you have and all the systems and everything. Like, is going to start dysfunctioning. It's going to start doing some things that you're like, okay, what's going on? And then you might literally get sick. And I mean, if it goes unchecked for long enough, you definitely will. It gets stored. Stored emotions become energetic blocks, and energetic blocks can then turn into the physical symptoms like chronic pain, autoimmune issues. Hello, I'm raising my hand here. I have that right now. Like, I'm healing it, but I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's. That's an autoimmune disorder of the thyroid. Anxiety, hormonal imbalances. You can have estrogen dominance. You can have high androgens. You can have, which that's like testosterone. You can have low progesterone. You could have PCOS. You could have like so many things. Digestive problems, like chronic fatigue, anything, any kind of issue. It all started because of an emotional root cause that you didn't address. And I don't say that to blame. I'm not like you. Like, I'm certainly like, this is not something to go into more shame about or to blame yourself or to go into more negative emotions. Like, no, this is just to illuminate the problem, illuminate the root cause so that you can start to heal. Because guess what? You can. You absolutely can. It is not too late. It's never too late. If you're still alive, it's not too late. And I'm going to just go ahead and go out on a limb and say that because you're listening to this, you're still alive. So your body, it becomes a vault for every unprocessed emotion that you gaslighted yourself out of feeling because you didn't want to manifest something that you didn't want. And you thought that, okay, if I'm trying to manifest my like dream relationship and I'm feeling heartbreak or I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling lonely, that if I allow myself to feel those things, then I'm just going to manifest more of those things rather than the thing that I want, which is my dream partner. And that is just not true. It's just not true. It's actually so harmful for you to internalize those feelings rather than just processing them, letting them move. Emotions it's energy in motion. It needs to move. If it doesn't move, that's when it gets stuck. So like I said, like I kind of mentioned a few minutes ago, you certainly don't want to be in this like victim mindset of like, nobody chooses me. I'm so lonely. Like, I'm never going to find my soulmate. I'm heartbroken, blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, obviously you don't want to stay stuck in that. But if you're noticing that emotion or any of those emotions come up for you, you want to allow yourself to feel it. You don't want to shame yourself out of it or guilt yourself or make yourself wrong for having those emotions. It's information. It's telling you something. It's asking to be felt and released so that it doesn't get stuck, because when it gets stuck in your body, that is when obviously you can get physically sick, but also that's when you do start manifesting that, because that becomes your frequency. It does not become your frequency from you just feeling it for like a day or a few days or whatever, even a few weeks. That's not when it becomes your frequency. We don't need to be so fucking scared of feeling any unpleasant emotions for a short amount of time, thinking that it's going to just completely lower our frequency. No. I want you to erase that. If you're someone like me who had believed that, like heard that and believed it and internalized it, I need you to like literally erase that from your mind. Delete it. It is not helping you. You are just putting paint over outdated, ugly, peeling wallpaper that you would never choose to put in your house. You're just painting over it whenever that's what you're doing, okay? So I'm sorry, like I didn't realize this was going to be such a tough love episode. But I just like, I have been, for lack of better words, a victim to this mindset because I just didn't know better. And now I do know better, and I'm actively having to undo so much damage that this belief created, that this avoidance of my emotions, of feeling my uncomfortable emotions created within my body. And now I have several physical ailments that I'm actively healing because these emotions sat in my body and I didn't process them, I didn't feel them. And, like I said, I have autoimmune disorder. I have hormonal imbalance. I have some digestive stuff that I'm healing. So many things. There have been times, thank God it's not happening right now, but like where I've had such a severe face rash around my mouth specifically. And guess what I was doing during that time? I was being so incredibly self-critical and mean to myself and speaking so meanly, I don't know if that's even a word, to myself. Like my self-talk was so negative and so mean toward myself. And I got like extremely bad perioral dermatitis around my mouth, just such an angry, bumpy red rash around my mouth. Do you think that was a coincidence? No. That was a direct depiction of literally the words that were coming out of my mouth and how I was attacking myself. And this was also around the time that I got diagnosed with the autoimmune disorder of Hashimoto's, which is where your immune system attacks your own thyroid tissue. And the thyroid, of course, is in the throat. And guess what? The throat is your voice. And so I was attacking, it literally all, are you tracking with me here? It all goes together. I was attacking myself and my voice, really everything about myself, but using my voice as well to attack myself through my self-talk. I get a horrible angry face rash around my mouth, and I get diagnosed with Hashimoto's autoimmune disorder. What is autoimmune? It's where your immune system attacks its own tissue. I was attacking my own self. It is so not a mystery how these things happen. Guess what the emotional root cause of cancer is? Really deeply suppressed rage and anger. Serious. Not just oh, I'm pissed at that this person cut me off in traffic. Serious deep rage that is deep buried in there that has gone unchecked. That is the emotional root cause of cancer. And we can tell what it's about or what it's in relation to, depending on what kind of cancer it is or where it is in the body. You can get more clues on the exact emotional root cause there, as well as your moon sign, which I'll talk about the moon signs here in a little bit. But I went off on a little bit of a tangent. Are we shocked? I'm not. But anyway, so most people are doing this in the name of being spiritual, because obviously we don't want to manifest things that we don't want. We don't want to mess up our frequency, lower our frequency. We don't want to experience things that are, really uncomfortable. But we just have it so wrong. The manifestation community has it so wrong whenever it comes to the teachings around feeling your emotions and allowing yourself to sit with them, and not just immediately oh my God, I'm feeling this thing and it's scary and I don't want to manifest more of it. I need to avoid it. I need to just focus on the state of the wish fulfilled. Focus on feeling it real. Focus on feeling the thing, only the thing that I want to feel. No, That's painting over wallpaper that you hate. Okay? You need to remove the wallpaper first before you paint over it. You need to feel the emotion, let it move through you. Don't sit in it forever, but you need to feel it, let it move through you, and then it's going to be gone, and then you can paint over it. And then it's like a fresh start. Okay? So I just have done this so much. Like, just looking back, I just wanted to be positive when I was just really afraid of my own like sadness or my own fears. And I am learning, and I had to learn, and I still am like learning how to just feel these emotions. Even like, it sucks. Nobody wants to just sit. Well, I guess some people maybe do. I don't know. But like, most people don't want to sit and feel sadness or grief or guilt. Like, it's uncomfortable, but you need to. Okay? You need to. So, some things that I would recommend to start releasing your emotion safely with no negative consequences and no guilt, I guess you could say, about the fact that you're expressing your emotions I'm just going to like list them off, okay? You could scream in your car, or you could scream into a pillow. You can, I love this one. I do this every day. You can shake, like literally shake your body. Just shake it around, bounce. You can come up on the balls of your feet and then lower back down to your heels, like just kind of bounce and bounce and bounce. Put on some music, dance, shake your arms, shake your legs, just like let it move, like get it moving, you know? Also, something that I cannot recommend enough that's helping me release my stored emotions and trauma and stress that have been stuck in my body. Actively, they're releasing now, which I've mentioned this before in at least one other episode, but the Workout Witch, Liz Tenuto, her courses, her name on Instagram is the Workout Witch. Her courses, she's got like a 30-day, a 60-day, a 90-day, and then a 5 months, because it's the 5-course bundle, where she literally walks you through just really short, like anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes a day, very, very gentle somatic exercises. I mean, like, you'll be doing it and you'll be like, how is this going to help me release trauma from my hips? Or how is this going to help me release grief and heartbreak? But I swear to you, from my personal experience, it does. I have been astounded. So I'm in month 2 right now, which is the section that's about like releasing emotions and stress and trauma from your like mid to upper back and like your shoulders. And that is the area where you can hold like heartbreak and grief that is unprocessed. And I have a good deal of that needed to be released. So many things that have happened that I just really didn't allow myself to feel fully and process, because like, ouch, you know? And it's just, I'm like, what do I even say about this? Where do I start? Because it's amazing. Like these sweet, gentle, nourishing little movements, like she'll say throughout the videos, she'll be like, do this in the laziest way possible. Do this in the least ambitious way possible, which like for one just feels so tender and like nourishing to me. Like to know that doing more or working harder isn't like better in this instance. It's really about being gentle and just allowing these things to release from your body. And somatic movement for me is so incredibly healing because I am a Sagittarius moon, and typically fire moons need movement. And but also I'm a Cancer Mercury, and so for me, nervous system regulation, being a Cancer Mercury, needs to be very gentle, nourishing. And so blending kind of that gentle fluidity with movement, somatic movement, is perfect for me in that aspect. And I'm certainly not saying that if you don't have those exact placements that somatic movement isn't going to be as effective, because I truly believe that it's actually effective for everyone. But yeah, I highly recommend the Workout Witch and all of her courses. Fun fact, I posted about this on my Instagram, so you can go and see a picture. I can't believe I shared the picture, but like, I just needed everyone to know how detrimental it is to hold in emotions like grief and heartbreak and all of that. So as soon as I started doing month 2 of her, I have the 5-course bundle from the Workout Witch. So I start month 2. For month 1 is all about hip and like pelvic floor trauma release, and that was amazing. Like, I had a few different emotional releases from that, and I also noticed that hip pain that I have on my right hip got better, and like so many different things. So then I start month 2, and it is grief and heartbreak release, and I noticed pretty instantly, I was like, okay, why is my back, like my upper back and my shoulder area, breaking out in the ugliest acne I've ever seen, like on my body? And I just like intuitively knew as soon as I like asked myself that question, my intuition answers, and it's like, girl, it's because it's a physical like purging, a physical detox of this emotional debris that you are now stirring up with these somatic exercises. And wow. So I also had a really big emotional release. Like, I guess it's been maybe like a week ago now, but it's so wild. Like, you'll just be doing these exercises and not thinking anything of it, and then like a few hours later or the next day, you'll just be like crying because like not because something happened, but just like, bam, I just feel like I need to cry. And it's just those emotions like moving, and because they weren't moving for so long, and it's so healing. It's so good. So I do have a discount code for you if you want. I put so many people on this already. So if you would like to try it, I will link in the show notes the link for you to get 10% off any of her courses. Or you can just use the discount code at checkout, Intuitively Sydney, no spaces, and Sydney is spelled Sidney, not Sydney. So totally cannot say enough good things about that. And hopefully it doesn't give you back acne like it did me, but it's temporary. It just had to detox, it had to purge, it had to release. I will take it, just so I don't have to have it stuck in my body forever. That brings me to my next point. Let yourself cry. Let it be ugly. Don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about pulling out your fucking camera and filming yourself crying for content. I literally can't with that. Like, I know that might be a hot take. I don't know. I don't care. It's weird to me whenever I'm scrolling my like Instagram and I see people crying because they like apparently started crying and then grabbed their phone and were like, this is a good content opportunity. Like, I'm sorry, I will not be doing that. You will not see that kind of content from me. But just let yourself cry. Let it come. Don't like try to stop you, because whenever you start crying, you know that you kind of have a choice. You have like a little window of time where you can be like, okay, I'm going to let this happen, or nope, I'm going to like look at the light and suppress this. Don't do that. Let it come out. And the next thing is I recently heard Nicole Sachs. It's Sachs. That's her last name. She is a therapist. I think she's like a licensed clinical social worker therapist. And she wrote a book, which I haven't read it, but I'm going to. It's like next on my list. It's called Mind Your Body. And she created this method of journaling called Journal Speak. That's all one word. And she totally teaches you how to do it. Like the podcast that I was listening to, she talked about it, like the steps of it in the podcast episode. But you can also go to her website, Nicole Sachs. I think it's just NicoleSachs.com. And I'll link it in the show notes just so you have it. Like I don't have anything to do with it, but like it's just her website. But I'll link it just for your convenience. And basically, like, what you do is it's all about helping you journal to just like get stuff out, stuff that you would literally never want to say out loud. You would never want anyone to read it. You would never want anyone to know that you even thought it, but you want to get it out and just like purge it and then delete it. If you typed it, I'm a typer because I hate handwriting. Like my hand gets cramped up and I won't do it. I will not handwrite stuff if I don't have to. So basically what you do is you can go to her website and get all the steps like in detail, in great detail, but I'm just going to like cliff notes it for you. You write a list of past traumas or like hurts, stresses, anything like that, and then a list of current stressors that you have in your life, and then a list of like traits or characteristics about yourself that you feel are kind of like sticky or just kind of like you're kind of feeling a certain way about, like patterns or tendencies that you notice in yourself that you're like, ooh, this isn't really working for me. This isn't good. I would like to change this. And then every single day you set a timer for 20 minutes and you just write. You write or you type in my case. And as soon as you're done with that, like you're going to let yourself say the darkest stuff that comes to you, like literally the most unfiltered shit that comes to you, you're going to write it or type it. And then once the 20 minutes is up, you're going to delete it or you're going to rip it up and throw it away. You could burn it safely as well if you like that. That's even like an added little layer of ritual for you. And then it's gone. It's out and it's gone. And then you can do, like she recommends doing a little like self-regulating ritual, like maybe some deep breathing or maybe some somatic movement, like something that you want to do to like get yourself kind of back. Because after you write some of that stuff, I guess it could be a little bit like confronting, and then you might be like, oh, it's kind of weird to like just move back into normal life after I just said some of the craziest things I've ever said or admitted some of the craziest things I've admitted. So that's what she recommends. But like it's totally free to get the instructions on how to do this. And I just started doing this after listening to that podcast where she talked about it, because so many people have literally healed their chronic pain from doing this practice alone, because it's helping them move those emotions out of their body. And another reason of why journaling like this is effective is because it takes those like emotions and feelings from the limbic section of your brain, which is the emotional center of your brain, to the prefrontal cortex, which is the more logical part of your brain. And so it kind of lessens that emotional charge that you feel around all of that, and it just helps you like release it. And it's so simple, but it really, really, really is effective. So I can't, on this particular topic, I can't speak about personal experience yet like I can with the workout witch, because I haven't been doing it long enough, but I will report back after maybe a couple months or however long that I've been doing that. So Nicole Sachs, Mind Your Body is the book, and then go to her website to learn more about the specific instructions on how to start your little journal speak practice. And then another thing you can do is like use your voice, sing, put on some music that like really inspires you or makes you feel something, whether it's like angry or sad or whatever, and just like sing or hum along. Like that can even help you. And humming, bonus fact, is super stimulating for your vagus nerve. It's like vagal toning, if you've ever heard of that. Humming is extremely good for that. And then last thing is you can do some pillow slams. Well, it's not the last thing, like it's just the last thing I wrote down, but there's more. There definitely are more things you can do. I just made a short list. So you can like punch a pillow or just do some pillow slams into the ground or on your bed and just like really get into it. You know, don't be nice about it. Don't be precious about it. Like do it so you can get that out. Yeah. I really recommend doing these things. You could also go to like a rage room. I've never been to one of those, but that seems like kind of fun to go just destroy some stuff. And I don't know like how expensive that is. I have no idea, but that could be something like a fun little thing to maybe go do with like a friend or your partner, whatever. Maybe you don't want to do it by yourself. That's totally okay too. Okay. So let's talk about the moon signs. I'm going to go over 6. I just picked 6 random ones to talk about. And the reason why I want to bring that into this episode is because your moon sign it's really linked to why am I losing my words right now? The limbic system of your brain, which is the emotional part of your brain. Like it's really has a lot to do with like your memory, your episodic memory. And it can also like it's how you emotionally process, and it also can tell you, your moon placement can tell you where you may be more likely to hold and store your suppressed feelings and emotions. So I'm just gonna like rapid fire go through the random 6 that I picked. And also keep in mind, if you're like, ooh, this is super interesting, I went through each of the different moon signs and houses, the 12 signs and 12 houses, in my guide, Mercury Medicine, Your Nervous System Codes, because that is a huge piece of nervous system regulation. So if you want to download that, you can get that at the link in the show notes or my Instagram bio. And for my podcast listeners, you can use the code podcast to get 20% off of that. And you can just learn how to like regulate your nervous system, your specific nervous system, not just like the trendy hacks that you see everyone posting about that may or may not actually work for you, because we are all different. Okay, so let's start with moon in Sagittarius. You may avoid emotions by intellectualizing or escaping. And this is me. Yeah, that is so true. So that is how also I just like totally fell into the trap of this lie that this myth that the manifestation community tells. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like let me just intellectualize this emotion and then totally escape by focusing on the things that I do want. Like easy. So maybe I was more susceptible to, like, maybe you heard that myth and you were like, no, that's not good. But not me. I heard it and went, yes, let me run with this. So, yeah, Sagittarius moon can avoid emotions by intellectualizing or escaping, and suppressed pain often shows up in your hips, thighs, or your liver. And like I said, I've always had, for like years and years, I've had hip pain in like my right hip flexor. So that checks out. And like expansion can't happen if you're emotionally blocked. So you need to feel it. Okay. Moon in Cancer, deeply emotional, but prone to hiding behind nurturing others. Stored emotions show up in the stomach, chest, or the breasts. Those are the body parts that Cancer rules or is in charge of. So these are the people who you're like Cancer is the mother of the zodiac. Like that's the archetype, the mother. And so these are the people who you're like, you're clearly not okay, but you're just bypassing that and just taking care of everyone else. That is what moon and Cancer can be really susceptible, like really just chronically over giving and ignoring their own needs by taking care of everyone else and worrying about what everyone else needs. Moon in Scorpio, you might hold everything in to maintain control or false control. Suppressed emotions gather in the reproductive organs and the sacral area. So Scorpio rules the genitals and the sex organs, the reproductive organs. So that could be like, endometriosis. It could be maybe like a fibroid, like a uterine, or not a uterine. A uterine, but that's not, I was trying to say ovarian, like an ovarian cyst or something. That's just a couple of the different options. And this can lead to like deep-rooted pain and chronic inflammation. Not good. Moon in Virgo, you process emotions mentally and you tend to overanalyze instead of express. Let me just think about it. Let me just overanalyze the shit out of it instead of expressing it. But suppression shows up in your gut, your digestion, and your intestines. So if you're like bloated or you have IBS, you have weak digestion or just like really unpredictable digestion, your body might be holding what you didn't let out. Guess what? This is something that's really interesting that I've really learned this year. Digestion, how you digest food, is a direct mirror to how you digest life and information. So if you're having struggles digesting, it's not just like the food you're eating, it's literally your life. How you're processing and digesting anything in your life is how you're going to digest food. So just keep that in mind. All right, Moon in Aries. Your emotions move fast and they're fiery. Aries is the fieriest of the fire signs, but unexpressed rage and frustration get trapped in your head, your eyes, or your muscles. Tension, headaches, and jaw clenching are common signs of that, like you holding in those unexpressed emotions or frustration or anger. Moon in Pisces. That's the last one we're going to talk about here. Like I said, I do have the other 6 in Mercury medicine if you're interested. Moon in Pisces, you absorb energy like a sponge. Suppressed emotions often turn into lymphatic stagnation, fatigue, or immune issues. Crying is incredibly important for you if you are a moon in Pisces. That is like cleansing for you. Now, that's not to say that crying isn't cleansing for everyone, but it's just like specifically if you have a moon in Pisces, you need to let yourself cry. Okay, so if there's one thing I want you to walk away with today after listening to this episode, I really, really, really need you to understand that emotion is not the enemy of manifestation. Feeling, quote unquote, negative emotions is not going to prevent your desires, your manifestations, your goals from manifesting. What will prevent them or prolong them or make them just way harder than they need to be is storing them in your body so long that you actually end up getting sick, and now you have to deal with that and peel off that wallpaper that's been painted over before you can actually then manifest the thing that you want. Emotions are like a portal. They need to be felt, they need to be moved, and they need to be released. And your body needs to know that it's safe to do that. And it's not going to if your nervous system is dysregulated and everything. Like the nervous system, I'm never going to stop talking about it because it is literally the root of freaking everything. And holding in your emotions, oh my gosh. Talk about dysregulating your immune system. Well, yeah, that too, but your nervous system and your immune system, all the systems. So please, please, please don't bypass your humanity, your emotions, everything that make you human. Like, we are spiritual beings who chose to come here to earth and be human, to have human experiences. Let yourself do that. That is actually the most spiritual thing you can do. That is the most spiritual thing you can do, okay? There's nothing more spiritual than being real with yourself and allowing yourself to have the experiences that you're having. And then you can move through them and recode your reality, recreate a more desirable reality. Okay. All right. If you want to get more into regulating your nervous system based on your custom nervous system blueprint, aka your birth chart, download Mercury Medicine. The code to get 20% off for you is podcast, link in the show notes. And then also, if you are someone who has like really painful periods, I did create a free little mini guide. I've talked about this before, but I'm just going to remind you here, a free mini guide. It's called It's a long title. Your mini astrology guide to period pain. And that's faux free. You can just go download it. It walks you through the different placements to look at in your chart that could indicate stored trauma, emotional pain, wounding, and just like difficult, painful periods. Just different things that can lead to painful, difficult periods and womb issues. So definitely go grab that if you would like. It's a little bit advanced. I'm just going to warn you. So just know that. But I am actually, I wasn't going to talk about this on this episode, but I will go ahead and spill the beans. I am working on creating like a little mini, like beginners mini guide to medical astrology and how to begin using your birth chart to just live your most healthy girl era. Like, what placements should you start looking at, like, just to begin to kind of start to make changes in your daily life, your daily routines, to optimize your health if you're already healthy, or to heal if you are in need of some physical healing, or just if you want to glow up. Like, you're like, no, I'm good, but like I could be better, you know? So I'm working on that, and that will be released very soon, like I would say probably this week. So, if you're listening to this later on, then it's probably already released and you should go download it. It's for free as well. So, okay. I hope that this episode served you, and the next Alchemy Hit episode, it'll be the next episode right after this. I'm going to talk about what to do, or some things that you can do, and some things that I personally do to help you feel your feelings. Because if you listen to this episode and you're like, okay, cool, yeah, now I understand like why I should be feeling my emotions and allowing them. But like, what if I've suppressed for so long and I'm so used to not feeling my feelings that I literally don't even know how to access them? And I don't know how to, like, moving forward, how do I let myself cry? Because that's not even something that like my body feels like it's safe to do in general. Which of course, like, nervous system regulation is key there, but also like I'm going to talk to you about some things that I personally do to help me get into the feelings that I need to be feeling to release, because sometimes they really do, like, especially if you're not like a water sign moon, like if you're a fire moon or an earth moon or an air moon, it might be a little bit more difficult for you to access some of your feelings and some of your emotions. And I relate to that. Like I said, I'm a Sagittarius moon. I am expert at avoiding uncomfortable feelings and emotions and over intellectualizing. And so I'm going to talk to you about some things that I do to help jumpstart some emotional releases. So hopefully that will serve you. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. If this this episode sparked something in you, share it with a friend who needs it. Take a screenshot, post it to your Instagram story, and tag me at Intuitively Sydney. That's SIDNEY. I would love, love, love to see who's tuning in so I can connect with you and celebrate you. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you next Tuesday.